to say the type of thing that you said last week, which is, I'm impressed by his emotional growth. He goes and shows you that, it's never as good as you think it is, and it's probably as bad as it used to be, if I can paraphrase inaccurately what Draymond said, because, you can't teach an old Dre new tricks. And he's been this way for the better part of 10 years of his career. And for some reason, I don't know if it's low blood sugar, if he was hangry, if he didn't feel like playing basketball, but he goes from 0 to 100 real quick. And it was over it was a bad call. Banchero fell on his own. And Draymond, it was a bad beat, and you got called for a foul and you shouldn't have. Can you just maybe barking and get the one tech and then let it go? Because Draymond knows when he gets the first tech, now you've got a lot more rope before you get the second tech. Yeah, that's the way it works when you're a star.
Right, and he knows, but last night, a shining example of two things by Warrior greats. One of them is that Draymond Green officially cannot help himself. When his anger goes to a certain spot, he cannot help himself. And then the other shining thing that showed up for me, and I'm addicted to this, is that one of the absolute all-time greats of the NBA is grinding and crying and caring about the 10 seed. Give me that.
Yeah. Inject that in my veins.
Give me that all day long. That's incredible. And that's all fans wanted to see. And that was a very big part of, like, there's the obvious, there's the good Lord, Draymond Green can't control himself thing. There's the actual act. But for me, maybe a bigger deal is the messaging behind it. The messaging behind that was, I don't care about the 10 seed. I don't. The score was 6-4. That was the score.
Yeah.
6-4. There was not enough time for you to be that mad. I know, bad call, previous play. I bet you've been through that before. You've been through bad calls in the NBA. You're Draymond Green. Okay? There was not enough time for you to be that angry. It was 6-4, and Jonathan Kuminga was out, and you're on a back-to-back the night after a long game with extended minutes for certain players at the end of a season where you're grinding to get in. I mean, of course Steph Curry reacted that way. Do you know how offensive that is to your teammates? That is so offensive to act that way at that point in the game. And so I don't know if Draymond knows this because he has podcasted and already sort of expressed, it's not as good as you thought it was, but it's not as bad as you think it is either. Whatever. He was very, I thought, blasé about it. I wonder if you know that what you just said to the fans is that you don't care. And I can't think of a worse thing for anyone to say about a public consumption job. I don't even like it when I'm at a restaurant and the server is like,
totally.
Like, I'll move at my pace. You're like, come on, right? Like, we're doing this here. I'm hungry. I'd like to eat and get going,
and
or whatever.
Want a little enthusiasm, too, about the experience.
Well, our show. You come in here and tell everybody I don't care. Like, you can't.
You want me to do
that.
the whole show like Draymond? If so, I'll be out of here in about 3 minutes.
We got one of those tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't even watch the game,
exactly.
Mark. I don't even care. I don't care about this.
10 seed. I'm not here for the 10 seed. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Well, it's especially brutal for his teammates when you don't have Kuminga and you are playing your 15th back-to-back, game 72 in the season. Saric won't play, so you know you're pretty limited across the board, and you last not even 4 full minutes, and you blow your stack, you lose your cool, you name call the ref, and you get run. Sorry about that, guys. Actually, sorry, not sorry. I said what I said. Go out there and do what you do. I'll be back here in street clothes waiting for you. And just imagine the volcanic reaction if they would have lost the game to Orlando.
Well, okay, let's take a minute on that as well, because we can't let it get lost. And I will promise this right now. Literally the first thing I'm going to say to Steve when he joins us here in 42 minutes is to bring up what the team that was on the court did last night. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. And I get it. I'm still totally frustrated by it. We did a whole show yesterday about people with the Warriors having to continually poke Andrew Wiggins in the ribs on the daily basis to get him to show up. I still find that exhausting. I still find it interesting that they feel that they need to do that. But there's no escaping also at the same time, and I've always felt this way about Andrew Wiggins. Good Lord, when he does show up, damn, it's a beautiful thing.
Sure is.
And so last night, on a night where, by the way, even Steph Curry, he was, I don't want to say not his normal self. He's been this a lot lately. Shot was not falling. But gutsy, grind it out, performance with things going on around you in a game where you very easily could have just been like, yo, back to back, no Kuminga. Draymond pissed us off, and Steph's shot's not falling. Let's be done here. Let's take a night off and go to Charlotte. And
instead, he digs deep in the fourth and hits a couple of big buckets that lift you to the victory.
So great. On a night where Houston is out there pulling an overtime upset in Oklahoma City.
Right.
It's a big damn deal. And so I know our focus is going to be on Draymond Green, as it should. But, take a moment to, in all of that anger, to salute the guys who did play. Because they played their ass off. That was
absolutely.
awesome.
And you have to look at TJD and the 14 rebounds. I had him into double figures, so you and I both hit our take it to the bank predictions, which is great. 33 minutes for TJD.
Gucci.
Clay comes through with a little uneven performance, but he's in the positive. The bench all contributing. GP2 was amazing with 3 steals and a block. It was truly a gutsy, gritty performance. And Steiny used the word earlier that you don't often think about with this team, with Draymond on the floor, and that's joy. They seemed to be a joyful group last night after the 8-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they played. It was an inspired performance. It was an inspired performance. Come on, Looney went out there and had rebounds.
Yep.
In limited minutes, by the way. The whole thing just felt inspired. I mean, Pajemski's still not hitting his shot. He had 9 rebounds. Ooh. Like they just.
One of his 3-ball misses was an air ball that wasn't even within the entire Central Florida area.
He could play for the Magic.
Right.
With the way he's shooting his 3 right now. Boy, the Magic, man, some of those guys, they'll line that thing up and they'll get their feet set and they'll be wide open and they'll miss everything. Whew, they're a bad shooting team. How the hell are they the 5 seed?
I know.
I mean, Banchero's great. I get it. They're big. And I understand this is just one night, but they've been a bad shooting team, a bad offensive team all year, and last night was a very good example.
Well, that's a stink bomb, too, for Orlando when you have 3 days off at home and you come out and you play that uneven offensively, 10 of 32 from 3, Banchero 5 of 17. They weren't very good. And yes, the Warriors get credit for playing good, hardy defense and getting the job done, but Orlando certainly helped them a lot by playing pretty badly early. 11 points in the opening quarter coming off of 3 days of rest at home. Wow.
Yeah. All right. 888-957-9570. Steve Kerr in a little bit over a half hour. We want to get to as many of you as possible. Let's dive right in. Let's go to Jody in Cobb, California. Hey, Jody, what's going on? Thanks for calling.
Hey, man. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Thanks for listening to me. I just have to say that Draymond has been enabled, and he's been enabled by 2 people that I have a lot of respect for, and that is Steph Curry and Steve Kerr. And I am shocked that they have allowed him to be enabled to be this person and not called him out. Maybe they have, but they haven't done it enough. When a guy gets a $25 million a year contract for 4 years after he punches a teammate in the face, that says a lot. And it says a lot about the team. It says a lot about the culture. And that is not the culture that Steve Kerr supposedly promotes. Anyway,
well, Jody, I think you have an interesting point. Let me ask you, what would it sound like? What would calling him out sound like?
Calling him out would be not giving him the contract.
Well, right. But, the two guys you mentioned are not, I know that they've got a lot of say in the organization. They're technically not in charge of that.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But they have so much pull that they would be able to say, we don't want this guy around us, right? So what I'm saying is that they have helped promote it. And that's horrible to me. And I don't understand it. I don't get this whole thing with Draymond, really.
Well,
he's not the greatest player in the world ever, right? And how do you keep enabling this guy to continue to do what he does? And that's the problem that I have. And the two biggest voices that we hear all the time are Steph and Steve, and they're allowing this to happen, including management, including the team, by signing him to that contract. I think it's all ridiculous.
Well, Jody, thank you.
Yeah,
here's the thing. There's habit involved here. Truth of the matter is, Draymond Green has behaved like this his whole career. Difference is they were winning championships.
Right.
And
he was also playing better, more productive on both ends.
Still a very good player. Still, he's been very productive. He has played well this year when he's played.
Right. He's not the same defender, and he's not as good offensively. I mean, he's still a good player, no doubt. I'm not saying he's a negative, but he's not the same player. So your willingness to suffer through these outbursts goes down.
No doubt. That's why I called it habit.
Right.
The habit of backing Draymond Green is built through everything where this organization has been, which is he was playing at a triple-double Hall of Fame level, and the team was performing at a Hall of Fame level. And it's unbelievable what you'll overlook if all of that is happening. The reason so many of you/us are suddenly, quote, done with him is because they're the 10 seed.
Right.
And you don't like this look when they're the 10 seed.
And also because he missed, 20 or so games because he can't control himself. And now he lost another game, and he may be facing a suspension, although it seems unlikely based on the straw poll here in the room. Neither you nor Guru nor Steiny think that he's going to be suspended. I'm the lone person who thinks that he actually will. We'll probably find out before the end of the show at 6 o'clock. We'll ask Steve his thoughts coming up at the top of the hour. But the fact that that's even a question continues to